the next segment is who you got. So these are players you played with. Now, this one I kind of know your answer because you mentioned it earlier, but I want to know. And remind you that it's not their full career. It's when you played with them.
Okay.
Tracy McGrady or LeBron James?
Overall or just during the time period I'm playing?
When you played with them.
Ooh, I got to go with Tracy McGrady during that time period because I came out in 05 and LeBron was only 2 years ahead of me at that time, so he wasn't quite LeBron yet. He didn't have the post game yet. He didn't have the defensive component. LeBron was tough. Back then, 2 years in, he was still, big time superstar. But T-Mac had it going at this time period. He was already into his go-to moves, and he was one of these guys.
Especially with the Houston Rockets,
When he was in Houston, man, I knew, because he went from that Toronto and Orlando, and then now he's with Houston. I'm like, man, T-Mac, I need to patent some of my game after you. And I have a couple of my moves I didn't patent after T-Mac, so I got to go with T-Mac.
Got it like that. Yeah. Larry Hughes or Ben Gorion?
Ooh. Shout out to my boy Larry Hughes, man. Respect to you, but BG, he was in my class. BG, I done seen BG since. I done seen BG. We were supposed to see them in the championship game. We ended up getting put out by Georgia Tech, Jerry Jack and them, but I got to go with Ben Gorion, man. Ben Gorion was tough at that time period. He was tough.
Zach Randolph or LaMarcus Aldridge?
Ooh, Zebo.
Zebo?
Zebo. I love LaMarcus. He was, LaMarcus was Zebo's young fella. When we were all in Portland together, I played with LaMarcus and Zebo. He was LaMarcus' rookie year.
Yep.
Zebo was a man coming out of Michigan State, man. He was
tough.
That lefty, he was tough. I got to go with Zebo on that one.
Now this is a handles question, ball handling. Rayford Austin.
Ooh.
TJ Ford, you play with.
Ooh.
Jamal Tinsley, you play with.
Ooh.
And Ronald Flip Murray.
Ooh, man, you gave me a tough one on that one. Ooh, Rayford.
Rayford got the
ball
best
handler?
Ball handler.
Rafe.
He was tough?
Skip. I played with Skip in Houston. Skip, he could just handle it. It was a part of his hand. I mean, Flip has some handles too.
Flip from
man.
Philly, man. Shout out Flip, man. I'm trying to get
Flip,
him on the show
man.
for
All
a minute.
those guys are my guys, man. But I don't know, Rafe, man. I grew up on that and one time period and watching that video coming up, and man, he made it to the pros. That's Rafe. And Skip to Malou, man. Skip had some stuff with him.
Now, out of all the teammates you played with, who had the most unique work ethic? Like one of the guys you seen, like, man, he the first guy, last guy.
Bron.
Easy.
Bron.
Really?
Bron he was a worker.
What was unique
Still
about
working.
What was unique about his work ethic?
You could tell he had a sense of purpose. He had a sense of knowing what he was doing. He had people around him that knew where he needed to go and what he needed to do. And so I would come in and work out with LeBron early, leave late sometimes. I mean, he was in the weight room early. He was lifting before the games, after the games. He still does the same thing to this day. That's probably why he's having such a longevity as a career. But even from when he was 19, 20 years old, he was in the gym. He had a dynamic work ethic, and he was in the lab. So I give him much credit for that. Not as much as I would say Kobe or anybody. Kobe was a little fanatical about it. He was a little off in the head with it, which made him great. But Bron had a good little work ethic.